On average, 80% of the people who start the gym quit within the first year, and most within the first few months. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to start the gym, stay consistent, and actually see results so you don't become part of that statistic. And this isn't a quick tips video. If you want this to actually work, you need to understand this properly. So watch this all the way through because each part builds onto the next. And I've seen this over and over again with beginners. And this is exactly the type of thing I help people fix. And if you want all of this structured for you, your training, your diet, your progression, and someone to actually keep you accountable, I offer one-on-one coaching, link in the description. Now, what holds most people back is staying consistent and actually showing up to the gym. And to make this easy for yourself, you're gonna wanna set your life up so it's hard to fail. The first thing you wanna do, which will make everything else so much easier to do, is lower your dopamine baseline. And everyone's dopamine baseline basically looks like this. It has these big giant spikes from phones, porn, music, gaming, and then when you do end up going into the gym, it just flatlines below these spikes. And to fix this problem, you're going to want to take out all of these things at least an hour or two before you hit the gym. So your baseline is very, very low, and then when you do get into the gym, it will go way above baseline, which will make the gym so much more fun and entertaining, and will make you dial in on it more because it's the most fun thing in there. And you won't get distracted as much, you won't be looking for other things to do. You'll only focus on the gym because it's the most fun thing there. This is something that has helped me a lot go to the gym consistently and actually dial in on the gym because I basically made everything else so boring that the gym is way more fun than anything else. The second thing you gotta do is probably the hardest for most people, but it's very effective, and you're basically gonna replace bad habits with good ones. Now I say replace bad habits with good ones, not just take away bad habits, because if you just stop bad habits, you're going to drive yourself insane and just relapse back into them. So you need to replace them. It makes it so much easier, and it actually is a healthier option. So you're going to want to try and take away alcohol, processed foods, doom scrolling, porn, gaming, anything negative and that will affect your daily life and your gym performance. And replace them with things like water, whole food, being active, and learning. Now, learning doesn't mean you just have to read books or study or anything. You can listen to podcasts, watch YouTube videos, any of that stuff, as long as you're not filling yourself with mindless bullshit that will just create these dopamine spikes and make the gym less appealing. The third one is big for actually getting people to go to the gym, and that is schedule your day. Plan everything ahead. Doing this makes it so much easier for yourself. Picture brushing your teeth. Brushing your teeth is something you have to do, and most people do it without even thinking or really remembering that they did brush their teeth. It's just an automatic thing. It's because they've scheduled it for just before they go to bed or just after they've had breakfast. Whatever it is, you have to do this with the gym. So plan when you wake up. Meals, work, gym, free time, sleep. If you plan this, it makes everything significantly easier to go to the gym or have your meals and just not forget shit. And over a week or two, if you stick with this, it will just become muscle memory and you'll just do it without even thinking. Number 4 is long-term goals and short-term goals. Now, I would argue short-term goals are more important to have than long-term goals, mainly because they help so much to get to your long-term goals. You do want to have long-term goals, but short-term goals are going to make it significantly easier to hit. Now, picture you're in a tunnel, and at the end of this tunnel there is a light. That is the long-term goal. But there are these glass doors all the way through the tunnel that are the short-term goals, and you need to accomplish these short-term goals to unlock a door to get through it. Because short-term goals give you a sense of progression. Your long-term goal, like the end of the tunnel, may be very far away, but you don't know how close you are because you're not seeing any progression. And if you just keep randomly walking towards this tunnel, you're going to think this goes on forever, this clearly doesn't end, I'm just going to give up. But if you have the short-term goals of those doors you're going to get through, that gives you a sense of, okay, I'm working towards something, I'm progressing. And that is exactly why you want to have short-term goals, to give yourself a sense of progression towards your long-term goals. Now, step number 5 is have a plan. And I strongly believe this is the main reason why people do not stick to the gym. It's because they walk in and don't know what the fuck they're doing. I see it all the time. They walk in, they just grab some random weights, some random machines, and just start doing a couple sets, a couple reps, and they just don't know what they're doing. And that makes them feel lost. and confused and they don't know what to do, so they just go, oh, it's clearly not working, I'm giving up. Have set days for certain muscle groups. For example, Monday is push day, which is chest, triceps and shoulders. And then Tuesday is leg day. And then Wednesday is pull day, which is your back and biceps. And this basically structures out your week, so you go to the gym knowing exactly what you do it, and then you leave. You also want to have set exercises for certain muscles. This makes it so when you are training those muscle groups, you know exactly what exercises you're going to do. Go to the gym on the same days and at the same time. This is what I talked about, the scheduling. It makes it so much easier. It's just like brushing your teeth. You do it at the same times, on the same days, and you do it for the same amount of time. The next one is meal prep for the week. Now, I've done this for years. I meal prep for the whole week, and that way I can just grab it out of the fridge, heat it up, eat it, and I'm done. I don't have to cook every day. Plan all of this around your goals, whether it's fat loss, muscle gain, strength building. You have to plan your schedules and your exercises around what you want to achieve, and this makes it significantly easier to see progression. Number 6 is don't fall for the bullshit. Now, I can admit I was a victim to this when I first started, and so many people do. They fall for the whole protein products like high protein pasta, high protein cookies, high protein bars. If you're eating whole foods and the correct meals, you don't need that at all. You're easily going to hit your protein intake by eating whole foods. This stuff here is just processed and full of just garbage. Another one they fall for is quick fat loss tips. Everyone's scrolling on TikTok and Instagram looking at how to lose fat around your belly. It's like you can't target places to lose fat more than the other. That's not how it works. If you just stick to all of these other stuff, you won't have to worry about that stuff. And they look at things like hacks, like how to gain muscle quicker by doing this, or how to lose fat quicker by doing this. It doesn't work. It never has. It's just another way for people to sell you shit. It doesn't work. Ignore it. Now, if you're not sure what your body actually needs right now, whether you should be cutting, bulking, or just building a base, I offer a free physique analysis. You'll get a full breakdown on exactly what you should be focusing on based around your current physique. Link in the description. Now, once you've got the other side down good, things like dieting and training become so much easier. This is the difference between someone who quits and someone who sticks to it. Focusing on the things outside of the gym to make things in the gym so much easier. Start off, we've got diet. Calorie deficit or surplus depending on your goals. So if you're skinny, you want to build muscle and you want to build up physique, you're going to go on a calorie surplus, which is just basically eating more than your maintenance calories. If you don't know what maintenance calories are, they are basically eating the amount of calories you need so you don't gain or lose any fat. Whole foods only, this is a must. This is like what I was saying before, don't fall for the bullshit of the high protein products. You only need to eat whole foods to see incredible results. And that's things like rice, chicken, beef, oats, anything that's natural pretty much. The only thing I would allow you to eat that is processed is protein powder. Everything else is just full of shit and you do not need it. Now, regardless of what your goals are, you do want to have a high protein intake. And the sweet spot is in between 1.6 to 2.2 grams per kilo of body weight. If you eat too much protein, it just overflows and turns into fat. But if you eat too little, you're not going to feed your muscles enough to progress in whatever you want to do. High to moderate carbs based on goals. Like if you want to build muscle and get bigger, you want to go high carbs. But if you're wanting to lose weight, you're going to go moderate carbs. And this is easy enough to still feel the benefit of the carbs, but not enough to possibly gain fat and look even bigger than you want to be. Low fats. Now, if you're going on a calorie surplus to gain some muscle or some size, you do want to have a little bit more fats than usual, but still not that much. 4 to 5 meals a day. Now, eating that many meals in the day makes it so much easier to not have junk food cravings or to feel starving throughout the day. Because what a lot of people do when they first start dieting is they have the same 3 meals, breakfast, lunch and dinner, and in between those, they are just absolutely starving and just dying for any type of food regardless of what it is. But if you have less in the meal, but more meals, you're going to space them out and not be as hungry throughout the day. Therefore, you'll be a lot more stricter on your diet. 3 to 4 liters of water a day. Now this makes it so your body doesn't hold on to as much water than it normally would. I know this sounds ridiculous, but it is true. Because if you don't drink enough water, your body holds onto it because it's going, I'm not getting enough water, I need to hold onto it just in case. And you're going to look more bloated and watery. But if you drink more water, you're not going to hold as much in because your body's going, oh, we're getting enough water, I don't need to hold onto it as much. And also for overall health, you're going to feel more hydrated, you're going to feel fresher, your skin is going to look a lot better. I know this for experience, my skin went so much better as soon as I started drinking more water. Now that's pretty much it for dieting. The other side of it is like what you want to eat, but that is up to you as long as it fits your macros. The next thing is training. When you're starting, start training 2 to 3 days a week. I wouldn't go anymore because you're gonna hate it, you're gonna injure yourself, you're gonna be too tired. The first couple of times you train each muscle, you're going to feel so sore. You're gonna feel like you're about to pull a muscle any second now. So that's why you try and limit to only 2 to 3 times a week so you don't go back to the gym while feeling sore and possibly hurt yourself. Now if you train 2 days a week, you can just do upper body or legs. This is perfect. You just do 1 or 2 sets of each exercise. You do upper body one day and then legs another day. That's easy enough for when you're starting. But if you're starting off with 3 days a week, you can just do push-pull legs. That's easy. Push is chest, triceps and shoulders. Pull is biceps and back. And legs are legs. I wouldn't do any more than 3 sets each exercise. I would probably start off around 1 or 2 sets for each exercise. But even when you're slowly progressing and going more and more, I wouldn't do any more than 3. 8 to 12 reps each set. That is the perfect amount. Anything under 8, too little. Anything over 12, too much. And when you're first starting, you're going to want to try not to go to absolute failure just because you're getting used to the weight and you're trying to warm up. Form over weight for the first 2 weeks. Now this is very important to get your form in check so in the future you don't injure yourself or train the wrong muscles when you're trying to target a certain exercise. For example, I didn't do this when I first started, and when I would train back, I noticed that my form and my form was so bad that I would actually get a chest pump. As weird as that sounds, I would get a chest pump. So if you focus on that for the first 2 weeks or even longer depending on how bad your starting point was, you're gonna have a lot more fun in the gym, get injured less and be able to progress quicker later on. Never ego lift ever. Never do it. I don't understand why people do this. Most of the time they're not even really getting stronger because they're not even using the right muscles. They get injured, they don't heal enough. Just never do it. I shouldn't even have to explain this. Now for the exercise, you want to do compound lifts like deadlifts, bench press and squat. Never go too heavy on them when you're first starting. Just learn the motions, learn the form. But these are good exercises for overall strength and keeping your stabilizers and posture great. Targeted exercises are made for targeting one muscle group in the exercise. For example, bicep curls only target bicep, tricep extensions mainly only target triceps, and the same with other exercises. 10 to 20 minutes of cardio. Now I would do this after every training session or every day if you like it. Cardio will improve your fitness and just overall health. So I would definitely try and do it for 10 to 20 minutes after every training session. Now if you made it this far, you already know more than 90% of people who are starting the gym. But knowing what to do and actually sticking to it are 2 completely different things. But if you want a structured plan, your training, your diet, your progression all laid out for you, and someone to actually keep you accountable, I offer one-on-one coaching, link in the description. But I hope you enjoyed the video and I will see you in the next one.